Okay, you caught me. As far as I know, there's no lily pond anywhere near Springfield. However, this was just such a beautiful setting that I wanted to use it for one of my Manny Fanfic previews anyway. Our Manny Fanfic preview for today is called The Lighthouse Princess by Robansuefa. Author's note. In putting together my Manny Story Index, one of the most surprising things to me was the fairy tale category. Having enjoyed a couple of them, I decided to try my hand at one myself. I tried to decide what was the best not previously done fairy tale for them, and sat on a bucket and thought and thought. Finally, I remembered The Light Princess by George MacDonald. I hope you enjoy this Manny parody version, but please read the original. I should also explain that I wanted to include Rick as the doctor in the story, but as that would make several plot points difficult, I de-Bowerized him, and I'm just going to call him Dr. Rick. But yes, that is supposed to be our Dr. Rick Bauer. The old nurse is supposed to be Dr. Claire Ramsey. I also appropriated one of my favorite lines from the Manny Fanfic, "When you walked into my life." Try to spot it. Once upon a time, the magical kingdom of Springfield was ruled by King Edward the Undecided and wise and kind Queen Maureen. One day, King Edward decided that he was being ill-used because his queen had not yet given him a child. He decided to be cross with her about it. However, being used to his whims, the good queen let him rant and merely said, "These things take time, my dear." Having very little choice in the matter, King Edward decided to wait, although it must be confessed, not very patiently. The royal couple got so desperate that they decided to consult the royal physician to the court. A desperate decision indeed. Sir Dr. Rick was an excellent fellow to have at court parties. He would work a spit like no one else in his strange spit-manning hat, and could burst the entire court into laughter with his imitations of his best friend, the Lord Chamberlain, Lord Philip. But he'd already lost 31 patients, and his success rate was mostly due to people jumping off their sick beds at his approach, for fear that he would try out one of his medical theories on them. Dr. Rick, who was by no means the most observant person, took these cases in his stride, declaring that his mere presence had caused the cures. However, so desperate did the royal couple become that they put the case of the gravityless princess to Dr. Rick. Later in the story, in a far distant land, Prince Daniel started out on a journey to find a bride. However, as soon as he discovered the daughter of a king, he found some flaw with her. He cared not a whit for any of the princesses in any of the lands he passed through. He disliked Princess Teresa of Sandovania. He found Princess Drusilla of Jacopia obsessed with money. Princess May, or was it Mary, of Fedbura, lied to him. Princess Cassie of San Cristobal was something of a harpy. Princess Marina of Cupertania he didn't even bother to meet. A painting was enough to show him he wanted nothing to do with her. And like Princess Drusilla, it was whispered that she had a habit of going after her friend's husband. Whether he was so close to perfection himself that he had a right to demand perfection in his bride, I cannot say. I can only say that he was fine, handsome, generous, and brave youth with delicious black curls and deep, penetrating eyes. He had heard stories of the bewitched princess, but didn't see what a prince could be expected to do with a princess with no gravity, and so had made no further inquiries about her. However, he was drawing very near the kingdom of Springfield when he was separated from Lord Deeps and the rest of his party. They were more or less permanently detained at the border by the powers that be until they could answer the question, just how were the powers that be expected to pay for this many extras anyhow? And so Prince Daniel came alone to the shores of Lake Springfield. Read the rest of the story at G.L. Manny.